Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Skype tutorial. My name is Dearybury. I am a Skype master teacher. I live here in South Carolina in the United States, and I'm happy to be walking you through today's lesson. And our focus today is simply just on how to connect a Skype lesson, a virtual field trip, a mystery Skype, how to connect that to your core content curriculum, how to go beyond textbooks, and why a Skype call would be better than a textbook. So we're going to be using the Microsoft Educator community, the Skype in the Classroom portion there. If you've tuned into any of my other tutorials, you've seen how to use this portion of the site. You know all the different options. I'll just scroll down briefly to review. There are 4 different ways you can connect in your classroom with Skype. Skype Lessons, Mystery Skype, Virtual Field Trips, and guest speakers. And today we're going to look at several different of those, some of my favorites, but we're going to be focusing again, like I said, on connecting that to your everyday curriculum, what you're doing in your classroom, and how to extend that beyond the moments after the Skype call. So first up, the lesson that I want to show you is a lesson about the Great Barrier Reef. Now, I want to just show each of the lessons that we're going to talk about today. If you see home here, that's the MEC, the Microsoft Education Community, and then the Skype in the Classroom page, which you see here. So jump to the Skype in the Classroom page. And then the Skype Lessons is just where we click on this button here, and it goes to the Skype Lessons page. And then when you get there, you can search for different lessons in your preference area. On previous tutorials, I've showed you about the filters and things like that. And this one is all about the Great Barrier Reef. Now, the focus of this one, as you see here, is all age students. It says animals, climate, environmental science. And as I read up here, you're going to be contacting the Australian Marine Conservation Society. You can click on that link right there, and it will open up their profile page, if you will. In their profile page here, you can see what they do. They have 50 years of marine conservation. They want to talk to you all about the Great Barrier Reef and how to conserve it, and the plant and animal life that's there, adaptations, and life cycles, and food chains, and all of those are directly related to most core content across the curriculum. I know I taught first, second, and third grade, and every single year we had different forms of animal standards that we had to cover. Also, it was big in our second grade standard, conservation, taking care of the planet. Now, granted, this is conservation in Australia. It's not here in South Carolina where I live, but you know what? Learning the ways of conservation around the world is vital to our humanity and protecting the planet. And so an offshoot of this, way you can extend this lesson, is to talk about how to care for the planet in your own area. Ways that you can conserve right there in your classroom, how you could conserve water, how you could conserve paper. So there's all kind of little offshoots, if you will. If you want to connect with this one, and it's an amazing experience, you can click on their profile and hit request a session. But also back on the main lesson page here, if you just hit register for this Skype lesson, a calendar will come up that shows you some different options of when they are available. Now, you have to just make sure you find a date and time that works for you. You click on that. Obviously, purple is the day that I'm on right now. If you click on that, okay, December 28th, 2016, I want to do that at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Well, guess what? I'm not in class at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So this is going to be a little bit tricky for me because I'm on the other side of the planet from these guys. So right here, if I wanted to just add a little message and say, hey, that time worked with me, is there an option for us to work it out? And they will be happy to do so if it's able to, as long as they're not asleep. But who knows, they might send you a video recorded lesson, we don't know. But also, if you go back to their main page, there are some videos here. There's a 10-minute video there you see about the society that you could watch, what they do. Also back on the lesson page itself, let me close that out. There is a Skype lesson presentation that you can click on, open that right up, see pictures from their presentation, that kind of thing. You can also see pictures from schools that they've worked with before. So I'm going to close out of these two, keep moving right along to my next one. You're going to really like this one. This one is called Techno Camp, Computer Science 101, an unplugged introduction. It's all the rage now to teach coding and computer science skills And I'm so glad this has becoming a common thing. So if you just scroll through this lesson, you're going to see it's presented by a guy named Stuart Powell. Let's click on his profile there and learn about Stuart Powell. It says he's an enthusiastic, passionate computer science educator in Swansea, Wales. Okay, so we went from one continent of Australia all the way to Europe, here in the UK. So we're touching on multiple continents here today. So Stuart wants to teach your kids, your students, ranges age from 8 to 18, so pretty much all ages there, about computer science. And you know, the thing about computer science, it teaches those skills like creativity and collaboration and critical thinking in a way that, you know, a worksheet and a textbook just can't do. So a lesson like this is, like it says here, it's an ideal starting point for any group of students at the beginning coding, but it's also a deeper level for those who have already been coding. It says for this lesson, all students require somewhere to draw or write their ideas. So if they had a device, a notebook, that kind of thing, again, you just scroll down here and click on Skype lesson, or straight from Stuart's profile page. You can also follow him on social media there, but if you want to request a session, he's got his calendar here. Just click on what's convenient for you, and that one would be good for me, actually, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and I would just set that up. This is what I love about the Microsoft Education community. It says all times have been converted into your local time. I don't even have to think about what time zone Stuart's in. I love that. That's fantastic. So kudos to whoever did that out there in the Microsoft world. Thank you for thinking of us teachers when you did that. So sign up for this computer techno camp. You know, another thing too, real world skills, coding, and there's no doubt there's some math skills that will take place in this. And how can you extend the lesson beyond your call? You know, after you learn how to do this, maybe your students will want to create a class website or create a class app that keeps parents up to date of what's going on. Maybe they want to even go a step further and create a website that actually informs students about some environment issues that they learned about in the Great Barrier Reef, or keep you know what, keep a website all about your Skype in the classroom experiences. And you maybe could learn how to do that with Stuart and the basics of coding. So you need to get signed up for that lesson ASAP. The next one, explore biodiversity and ecosystems at the Lisbon Zoo. So we're going to stay in Europe for a little bit. We're just going to fly south from the UK down to Portugal to the Lisbon Zoo. And how many of you have ever taken a field trip to the zoo, maybe where you live? And it's a great experience, but you know, every year I went to the zoo, and I was always, you know, just anxious about getting all the money, the funding that we needed, and that kind of thing. This virtual field trip to the zoo, you get the same experience. You don't get to touch the animals, but you know what? At the zoo, I don't remember getting to touch but a few animals. So you don't get to touch these animals, but you do get to see them up close and personal, and you get one-on-one teaching from a zoologist there at the Lisbon Zoo. So that's incredible. Again, if you want to, just let's review this. We did on the first lesson, home, Skype in the classroom. This time we've switched to the virtual field trip tab. So if we jump back, remember, you're over here, you're going to click on the virtual field trip tab, and that will open up this, and then you can explore the virtual field trips and find the one from the Lisbon Zoo here. You're going to be able to scroll through. You'll see in this lesson they want to talk about habitats, animal diets, animal classifications. And one thing I was thinking about, the way to expand this in your area, I would love for students to do like a Venn diagram, a compare contrast of the animals they saw at the Lisbon Zoo with the animals that live at their zoo, or even the animals that live in their natural environment around where they're living. I bet you the animals that live at the Lisbon Zoo are different than the animals that are running around in the backyards of people who live in Alaska. So I would love for people to connect there. And maybe even students could create their own lesson about the animals that they have in their environment and post it to the Skype lesson page, where they could then present it to whoever signed up. That would be a great extension of this lesson. Again, you could click on this button here and that would open up their profile page. Or you can just click register for this virtual field trip. Now, some of ours don't have a calendar. I believe this one does have a calendar. Yeah, this one has a calendar. And what I like about this one is you get an introduction to this other color. Most of them have the green color or the X, but this one has the blue. And that means that their availability is flexible that day. It says the host hasn't specified availability on this date. You may select a time and the host will get back to you to confirm. So this host is very flexible, wants to work with you. So check that out and get signed up for this and continue your around the world trip. You've been in Australia, you've been in Europe to 2 countries now. Let's see what's up next here. Okay, here we got this one. Behind the scenes in a science lab, and this is actually behind the scenes in a science lab in Canada. So you're going to jump across the pond, as they say, from Europe over to North America. And so that makes 3 continents today. We visited 3 continents. That's pretty cool. So in this virtual field trip, again, let's see where it is. It's home, Skype in the classroom, virtual field trip. So you'll be able to find that there. And you will just get signed up for this the same way you do the other ones. This one's a little different. I just want to show you. When you click on this, it's not going to pull up a calendar. It's just going to pull up a blank page where you can send the time that you want and start a dialogue with the person. Now, this is great because this can really be crafted to meet your specific needs. Sometimes it says 11:30 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1:30. But the school schedule, y'all know, sometimes you might have 11:42 to 12:12. And that's the time that you need to kind of arrange. So you can just type in your message there and send it off. Now, what I love about this one, it's not just one kind of virtual field trip or one kind of science lab. Here you got a physiology lab, a nutrition lab, a molecular science lab. And it says there, if there's anything else that you might want to see, please include that in the notes area when you register. So this trip is really trying to accommodate. Now, see over here, it says the category is physical health and wellness and science. The thing that I love about this one is that they want to talk about career paths. I think that's so important for kids to see what they can do with their learning beyond just being in the classroom. Taking it a step beyond a textbook. When you're reading in the textbook, you see pictures and you read about it, but here you actually see a working science lab where the real life is happening. And I think that's so important. Sometimes we think of textbooks as something that happened maybe in the past or something that was just created for the book. But when you see it live and in person on the Skype call, it's just amazing. It makes a connection for your students. The way that you could extend this beyond the call, you could have a little career day of parents in your classroom. You may could even have a career day where students research their careers that they want to be, or maybe possible careers that they're interested in but not sure. Maybe even in the younger grades, have a dress up day where they come dressed up as the careers that they want to be. But this one is a fantastic trip for you to take. I highly recommend this one because it just brings that real world application of, hey, what am I learning in class and how it is applying out there in the world? And you know what? Really, all of these are doing that. All of these are doing that exact same thing, and that's just so important with the Skype calls that you do, is that you take the learning that you're having in your class and you apply it in a way that helps people understand, helps your students understand that, yeah, what I'm learning is beneficial out there in the real world. So you want to make sure you sign up for something like this. Speaking of being relevant in the real world, this one is a fantastic experience for your students, that they can connect with a real life author of an actual book that some of you may have in your class, The Cat in the City from Penguin Publishers. You may have that. Julie Solomon is the author there, and she wants to Skype with your class to talk about her book, Cat in the City. Actually register for the Skype lesson right here. When you click on this, it's going to come up with the same exact format that we've seen in the other ones, where you can tell them your day and time that you want to connect with her. Why is this one a valuable field trip, a valuable experience for your students? It's simply put, because it shows students what they can do with their writing beyond just writing in a journal at school. I love writing in my journal, but sometimes kids just need to see what can I do with this? Where can I go with this? Now, I do want to point out that this one it says ages 6 to 10, but I think there's so many benefits for even our older grades connecting with authors and just seeing what they do, how the publishing process, the editing process, because so many times it's just a laborious process that can be difficult for students, but they see that this is the end game. Now I'm going to just click through here. You got a picture. There's the author. They can see the book. Now, let me say, maybe you haven't read the Cat in the City book. Well, guess what? We have a whole page. If you go here up to the top and just type in Penguin book publishers or Penguin authors, guess what? We have a whole page that's going to pop up just for you, Penguin Young Readers Group. And if you scroll down through here, you're going to love this, especially you English language arts, you literacy teachers. Check this out. All of these different authors from the Penguin publishers have said, yeah, we will Skype with students to talk about our books. They want to talk and help students understand why they need to be good writers, need to be good readers. You can scroll through here. Hopefully, as you've looked through, you're going to see some books that you recognize, maybe some authors that you recognize. And you're going to want to select them and set up a virtual meeting. This is something you look at all these resources here. And guess what? Here's the best part. As I say this, every time we do a tutorial, all of the things that we do, all of the things that are posted here on the Skype and the Classroom page, guess what? The Skype lessons are free. The mystery Skype is free. The virtual field trips are free. The guest speakers are free. All of this is free thanks to the Microsoft Education community and the Skype in the Classroom. You need to just do these. Sign up for all of these lessons. You can visit 3 continents. The people are out there waiting on you, and they're just looking forward to helping you empower your students and equip them with tools that they need to be successful. So hopefully this tutorial got you excited. Hopefully it's been a good 16 minutes for you and given you some new ideas. I look forward to hearing from some of you in the Microsoft Education community. Tell me what you're doing with Skype. I would love to know more about the experiences that you're having because of these tutorials. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.